All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So there is a nuclear theme here. We're going to look at NNE, OKLO, OKLO, and then I'm a little surprised, but KULR today had a nuclear fusion headline. Pretty interesting chart as well. So kind of excited to look at that. All right, but yeah, in general, it's funny to see how we went from Chernobyl fears to the hottest, thing in the market, arguably, right? So nuclear energy, I mean, in general, energy, right? We need energy for all these supercomputers and this and that. There's a cool little sprinkle of AI in this sector as well, right? The argument or the theory being, hey, it was unsafe before, but now we have this AI technology that's watching it, monitoring it, can see warnings way before any human, blah, 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 right? So all of a sudden, maybe what was a scary thing is now controllable, manageable, and hey, a better source to power these supercomputers that are no, we're seeing the quant stocks run, right? They need some power to keep on keeping on, right? So a lot of interesting things here. I'm surprised this one's not golden. I'm gonna color it, but yeah, we are testing a golden all-time high line right there. OKLO, I know that one's colored in. We are testing the all-time high golden line right there. It's actually from here, right here. And then KULR is looking really interesting. Nice little escape, couldn't quite hold. Moving averages do the job. Things are nice in the lower indicators. Not quite all-time highs, but there's a lot of room to run, and this thing is overall five, right? So on the technical side, all three are looking good here, and really, I think the best part of all of it is QQQ looks like it's about to rebound and go, right? Little bit worried about the loss of the 8 moving average. A lot of real concerns about dropping to the 50, none of which ever happened, and all of a sudden it looks like we're going to go back up. Obviously, QQQ looks a lot like NASDAQ, and I mean, look at it. NASDAQ is looking like it's ready to go. RSI is just a little high in the 70, but hey, it's not an 80. And I mean, there were points of high 80s even just a month ago, give or take, right? So Nasdaq's looking good. That's making me believe technology will be good. Those three that we're looking at today, these three that we're looking at today, excuse me, these are all tech, right? So excited to talk about all these and more, but before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. And for real, just being here, giving me your time. Oh, I'm so grateful for it. All right, so NNE. Look, the last time I covered this stock, I think it was around the 4th, and I remember saying OKLO was looking better than NNE. They both kind of did fall on that 4th, right? But this one was still over the 20, kind of battling with the 8. Man, OKLO got held down while NNE actually kept going. So I always say I'm a lot louder about my mistakes than my good calls. I love it when people say I'm right instead of me, right? But oh man, NNE did significantly better than I expected, all right? I'm not sure if I want to call this moment right here a bounce of these two lines, because look, to me, these two were confirmation. You can see that this candle right here on November 1st, it did lose the 8 and the 20. That's a scary gap down right there. To me, I'm thinking come down here, right? And like I said, we've made our way back up, right? So for sure calling myself out. I'm not exactly sure what the recovery was. The one thing that I kind of maybe want to look at maybe a little bit, you can say, was NASDAQ, right? In that little window between there and the 4th, it went down, and then a decent little NASDAQ recovery. I'm obviously looking at QQQ because it's quicker to type, right? But nonetheless, okay, NNE has held strong, is back over the 8 and 20. It is now bouncing well. And like I said, I need to turn this into a golden line, right? I'm going to zoom out and tell you why. I'm a little sad that I didn't make it a golden line earlier, but you can see it. There's not a lot of history here, right? Like this was the first trading day right here. There is no 200 moving average line. The 100 is the last one. And yeah, that line right there, that's the biggest candle. Obviously, all-time highs was all the way up here, right? Even a little higher. Like I see that wick right there. I don't care about these wicks at all. To me, if we can break this candle, if we can break that golden line, there's not a lot stopping this thing, all right? Clearly, we got over it yesterday. Did we actually get over it? Yeah, we did. A couple cents, but we got over it. So we got over it yesterday. We gap up and close above it today. I for sure would call a 14% confirmation. To me, we are now in this good all-time high comfortable place, all right? The one thing I gotta give a little bit of caution to is this 81 RSI, but look, this is just one of the indicators. There's a bunch of different things on the screen and there's a bunch of different good things, right? I think a lot of the fact that the QQQ looks like it's if QQQ was to get anywhere in that $508.50 world, right? So NASDAQ is probably that equivalent in the thousands, give or take, right? But yeah, if we, oh, it's not even close to a relevant number, but yeah, 19,100 is roughly the NASDAQ number. I already gave you the QQQ number. If we can break into that same November 11th candle on the indices, I think what that makes me believe is a hot indicator can stay hot or maybe even get hotter than normal. All right, because again, when the index is good, when the tech index is good, that's the NASDAQ, all of a sudden that ocean is calm and you can take your boat out a lot deeper than you normally would if the waves are choppy, right? So I think I'm going to give NASDAQ some strength. I am liking getting us over all the moving averages. I like this golden line break. Now, maybe I'm being just a little bit cavalier, and if I was, I would basically say I think maybe we'd come back down to this 29 line. But I think at this point, it feels like this is a very strong, strong resistance, a strong support, excuse me. I don't think we're going to come back down below that line. And realistically, the slope is probably going to start going up a little bit. And I can see this 8 moving average going over that line in what, maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday, if I had to guess, right? So, a lot of strength there. Listen, it's a short week next week, right? So some people might sell a little bit early just to, hold some profits. There's a lot of stocks with some high RSI, so hey, maybe that'll kind of naturally let some things cool down. But oh man, there's more to like than not like, to say the least. And really, nuclear feels really hot right now, and it's cool to see AI get sprinkled into the conversation, because really AI probably is the hottest thing out there, right? I think the one cool extra thing, and I keep saying hot, I gotta like come up with a different word, right? But quantum computing is now becoming what seems like the flavor of the week, flavor of the month. I have no idea how long it's going to go, right? But these super quantum computers need power, and all of a sudden nuclear is starting to get kind of sprinkled into those stories too, right? So there's so much to like in tech, and it seems like there are a lot of different sectors that are actually looking to nuclear energy for help, right? So liking the technicals here. I'm really liking the story here. Let's look at the weekly just really quickly. Look at this weekly, right? I mean, we're basically bouncing on the 8 and the 20 like a champion. I know that this is a high 78, but when you have a new stock, and again, this is a new stock, right? This thing hasn't even been alive for 50 weeks. You don't have a lot of information, and man, there's a good with that and there's bad with that, right? I'm seeing some real healthy volume growth. I'm seeing green over red. I'm seeing a real nice just upward slope. I have no idea where the red is, right? But man, I like that going up into the positive. I know 78's a little high, but we're seeing other tech things start pushing the 80s in the weekly as well. So it feels good. Just watch the short week. But yeah, nuclear feels like it's here to stay, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. OKLO. I feel like what I'm actually going to really do is maybe chapter these, because I might be kind of saying the same thing for these two, right? So no, let's see. I'll give this one some love. Let's see what it looks like. Hey, real quick, if you can subscribe, if you could share, it does wonders with these algorithms. So OKLO came to my attention because of Sam Altman. So he is the Chat GPT guy, the Open AI dude. I believe he's an early investor in this company. I actually listened to the last earnings call. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was this candle right here. I'm not 100% sure, but it was last week. Um, I thought that they would say his name just a little bit more, right? I would have enjoyed that. I'll be honest with you, right? He's a good popular guy. He probably has a lot of connections and this and that, right? Like it's good when a little unknown company like this can connect itself with an important person like that, right? Um, I really thought, and again, I kind of started the other NNE video with it. This seemed like the better setup between NNE and OKLO, and man, that golden line was just really tough to beat, right? And it's crazy because the line is actually a relatively new one. It is based on this candle right here. It's the October 28th one, right? Clearly that's like a much better, higher green candle, right? But um yeah, that's because that's a good candle right there. That's not confirmation. That's a good candle right there. That's not confirmation. That's actually a bad candle. It opens above the line and then closes on it, right? So the 8 was doing as much as it could. It just couldn't golden cross the golden line, right? So not too shabby drawing it off that thing right there, right? So on Thursday, yesterday, we definitely close over it, and today we find ourselves with a really interesting doji. All right. I also very much like what I see down here. Clearly, things can be a little prettier. You know, I want green over red on both of these, and you know, I want volume to be well over that 50 and just a little bit more uptrendy than I see over these, right? But I feel like this is trying to say, hey, I forgot about this earnings reaction downtrend, the earnings gap down and go. And I think I'm ready to continue. Because again, I just said it earlier, right? QQQ looks like it's ready to go. QQQ, I was worried when we lost the 8. I sincerely thought we were going to come down to the 50. Look, I zoomed out. I thought the 50 was a good line. We were hoping it would hold. But hey, I never even had to worry about down there, right? We hold the 20 seemingly right back over the 8. We obviously need to confirm, right? And yeah, if we can crack into this 11-7 candle, oh man, NASDAQ will look good. Again, QQQ looks identical to NASDAQ. So it's that exact same thought, exact same November 7th candle, right? If the NASDAQ can do the job, I think OKLO will destroy the golden line. All right. And a lot of tech stocks have been doing it. SoFi broke it right here. We're already up there. Man, there's a bunch. You would think that I would have had a couple ready as I said that, right? But tech is doing well right now. There's a lot there's just a lot that's happening, right? So this is pretty much the money line. Look, the one thing I want to just stress, this doji does make it really 50-50. I feel a little better being bullish on this video because again, I like the general thoughts that are going on with nuclear as a whole. AI is part of it. It's supposed to power these quantum computers and like it's really the power of AI, right? Like it's kind of funny that nuclear is powering AI that's keeping nuclear safe. It's a funny little circle right there as I'm saying these words out loud, right? But this thing's connected to a lot of tech that's moving. Quantum stocks have been really hot. Palantir's pushing 60, right? I mean, AI is an interesting and the sector's not going anywhere, right? So the more and more this thing can latch to it. That said, the doji just it's such uncertain. Like there were moments, and you can see it as I zoom in, there were moments when the doji went under the golden line, right? So there is a 50-50. I would say we can fall right back to that like sub 23 range. That would maybe be actually like a 10% drop, right? But overall, I think I'm gonna lean a little bit on the bullish side. I like this RSI. I do. I like the fact that it's a 57. It's for sure been very horizontal, right? There really hasn't been a good something like that for a while, right? Like a good, we're down here, let's rebound and go up, right? I feel like this is getting ready. I feel like if QQQ can make the bounce that I'm expecting, also at a relatively low RSI, I think that can carry OKLO up. I think that would take the green over red on the MACD. We are already positive, and most importantly, I think it will bring the volume that we're missing, right? OKLO knows how to consistently hold and grow big volume. It's been quite a while since we've done it, but hey, we've actually been holding the 50-day line, right? Like volume never dumped. We for sure pumped. We went from nothing to 40 million plus, almost 60 million plus, right? Like that's a pump. The dump never came. It's just winding down a lot more than we want, right? So give us a little bit more. NASDAQ do the job. And yeah, I think there's more to like than not like. Really, overall, I would say this thing is actually still very bullish as low as 21 bucks. Let's just round to 21. I would not want to go from 25 to 21. That's a tough drop right there, right? But yeah, as long as we're over 21, I'm here believing we're just dancing on that golden line until it breaks it and goes like the rest of the tech stocks. The earnings were a little weak. I will say that. And again, I'm a technical dude, right? So I rarely talk about earnings and fundamentals and stuff. But they basically said they're not going to have anything real until 2027. All right. So just keep that in mind. NNE by no means I think is going to have anything real anytime soon either, right? But just kind of keep that in mind as you're playing with this. Look, this is a very long-term sector, right? Just keep that in mind, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. I'm a little surprised to be talking about this one on this call. So KULR is a stock that I remember fondly. KULR. Oh, I don't even have the Discord room open. That's a little sad. But KULR is one we've talked about so much on the Discord, and for sure during that monster run right there. All right. In general, there's two things I sincerely believe. All right. If a stock knows how to do a run like this once, it knows how to do it again. All right. There's no guarantee that the again's going to come or how soon it's going to come. But hey, if you can do it once, you have the power in you to do it. And you just got to find the right setup for it. All right. I saw a headline today that basically said they had something to do with nuclear fusion. I'm actually grabbing my phone and reading it. Yeah. KULR Group develops custom cathodes. I don't know what that word is. CATHOD, cathodes for nuclear fusion in small modular. I gotta click in to finish the rest, right? So I'm sure cathodes already sound smarter than anything I'm educated enough to know about, right? So it's a use some big smart words. You know what I mean? Use some nuclear fusion in your headlines, right? Find your way find your way into the hot sector and good things will come. Good things here being volume, right? So a lot of technical things talking about here too, right? But yeah, I was a little surprised about the nuclear thing. I remember, and you know what? Let me do this real quick. Let's go to here. Let's go to here. Let's come into the room. There's a chart I really liked. And I gotta go back to super old. I want it in here. Oh, I can't go any older? Oh, that sucks. Okay, there was a chart that had KULR connected to so many big names. So I remember KULR does have this connection to companies that, quite frankly, a 30 cent, 45 cent, whatever it is right now, stock generally doesn't have, right? So when you can find your way, again, kind of with that nuclear headline comment, when you can find your way into some big names, into some big areas when you're this low, oh man, that's a monster thing, all right? Technically, it's been all about this 200 moving average. You can see it right there, right? I can even zoom out a little bit more probably. But yeah, since July, we've basically been under it and trying to get over it, trying to get over it, trying to get over it. That was a really big 1-2 candle right there. I don't actually know what happened right here in November. If you can let me know, please. Obviously, it brought some good volume that unfortunately did fizzle. But my, we're actually better than it today, and those last 3 days have been nice, right? But that looked like a good break. What I love, obviously, I would have loved for this thing to continue onward, right? That would have been better. Don't get me wrong. It would have been difficult because you can see the RSI was 84, 84, 86. Those are high numbers on the RSI, right? You come down to a good little healthy cool down. More than anything, you can say the 20, but I think I'm going to focus on the 200 a little bit more. What was a difficult line we just couldn't break, all of a sudden was this big support that helped us bounce all the way to where we're at right now and retest that resistance line, right? So when a line, especially the 200, goes from a crazy resistance all the way to becoming a very important support, that's incredible. From there, I mean, the volume has actually been really nice, right? No real crazy pump and dumps either. It's kind of the same thing I just said. Like, this thing went up, it unfortunately came down, but it never crashed down. I remember, and I know we've seen that on KULR before. I would say this is significantly more sustainable than this was right here. You know what I mean? We're not getting the big crazy rockets because that is what comes with these wild pumps. But hey, to me, I'd much rather just ride the lines up and go, 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 right? So before I zoom out and give you my targets up, look at what's going on down here aside from the volume, right? MACD is green over red, RSI is green over red, MACD is positive and actually has been positive for pretty much all of November, actually, right? And again, we talked about the RSI. It was low. It went all the way to the high 80s. It came right back down to a good, healthy cool down. It is now at a good 65, ready to go back up into the 80s more, right? Like, there's a lot to like here. This is a beautiful channel from 47 to 70. Right? Green, 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 red, 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 pretty much nothing since April, right? If we can go, let me just look at the rest of it. From it's basically nothing, 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 red, 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 green, 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 nothing, 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 right? This is a very, very good, very, very fast channel. 47 is a really good money line to have. If you want to take it up to 51, I don't think that would hurt. I'm actually going to set myself a 51 alert on KULR. I think if you can get into 51-cent range, there might be a lot. It could be a fast train to that 70 right there, all right? Where are we on the weekly? Interesting. Oof. I'm glad I just came to look at this. Where is that? Oh man, the 100 moving average is basically at 50. Look at that. Okay, so a couple things are jumping out as I'm looking at this. Number one, yeah, if we break 50, oh man, there's break the 100, go to the 200, right? So I think that makes the 70 that much more realistic. I think breaking the 50 becomes that much harder knowing that it is the 100 moving average on the weekly and seeing the 79 on the RSI. Again, NASDAQ looks good, volume looks good, MACD looks good. Hey, maybe all those things are enough for me to believe the hot RSI can get hotter and can still go up, right? But hey, gotta at least give a little respect to the high RSI. I'm zooming out. We haven't even come remotely close to breaking the 100 moving average on the weekly since 2022, right? There's been a wick right there, a baby wick right there. But yeah, we've pretty much never been over the 100 moving average on the weekly since 2022, a full 2 years, kind of knocking on the door of 3 years, really, right? So don't underestimate that line. Don't underestimate the difficulty of 50 cents. Breaking 50 cents, knowing what's there on the weekly, oof, 70 cents might really come real quick, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so, so much.